Well, finally, we are now live. This is our second live broadcast for Footsore Miniatures. And today, this evening, we have with us Mark, Farr, Andy Hobday.
Hello.
Hello. And myself, Tim Spakowski, over in the States. We, from the first live broadcast we did, we got a tremendous amount of response from it. It was very positive. It was really neat to see the comments and stuff. And also, like you said, this is recorded, so people may not be seeing this live now, but they'll look and watch it hopefully this evening. And it's neat to see those comments. So please continue to send us comments and tell us what you think about it, and because that helps us. Helps us model the show. So, and I see we have Mark Darling in the group, as well as George. Hello, Mark. Hello, George. Thanks for taking the time to join us.
You let George Asling in.
Who did?
Yeah. Not him.
Yeah. So, how are you guys doing over there? It seems to me that you've been a bit busy. Mark?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
But you're on holiday this week.
Well,
yes, Mark.
Yeah.
I thought you were on holiday this week.
Well, we shut down the business in terms of staff this week because, as anybody who follows Footsore will know, last year we had a mental year, and so in the UK, for all of our American friends and probably the rest of the world, in the UK. The UK holiday entitlement's about 4 weeks a year, including bank holidays normally. And last year we had a really, really busy year, and the guys were awesome. And they brought friends and family in, and we did loads of hours packing like Mortal Gods and Gangs of Rome stuff, and that. It was a bonkers year. Anyway, we got towards the end of the year, and everybody was going, "Can we have some holiday now?" To which I replied, "No, because it's the busiest time of the year." So this year, because again we just keep being brilliantly busy, which is great. We said we would have a fixed summer holiday for a week and a fixed winter holiday at Christmas, and that would be 2 weeks sorted where we know exactly what's going on, and that would help everybody with holiday allocation and stuff. And then obviously that was a really good plan. And then who knew there was going to be a pandemic? And actually we've been even busier because it's been really good. People have, have obviously had more hobby time than they probably wanted or expected, to be honest. But, our customers have supported us really well, and we've been very busy. And if I'd had a ball, I would have been going, "Can't have that week, guys, because we're going to be busy." But but it's good. It is really good. But so we had the official week shutdown, which has meant I've been running around our business just like tidying up bits and pieces and doing bits and bobs and stuff. So yeah, but we're all back to normal next week, or as normal as we get.
Right. Well, that's good. Yeah. Andy, what about yourself? It seems to be that you've been busy with a couple projects as well.
Yeah, very busy. I've been finishing off the Barons War rules this week. Hopefully, all the rules are done. So the manuscript's done for those. I just need to finish a bit of background history, which I have. It just needs a good edit, and just a forward. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be off on Monday morning to a grown-up who can actually turn my scribblings into proper edited
English.
Yeah, and after that, I'll go off to a proper editor to be properly edited. So yeah, very, very excited about that. And I'll be absolutely honest. I'm very pleased to be at this stage now.
I bet you are.
excuse me, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed creating what we've created. But I think also you can keep going. So it is the first pass. It is an alpha. We just need to let guys play it now. So that's been my major focus. I also have a day job, so I've been doing that too. And
your boss will be pleased to hear that.
My boss will be very pleased to hear that. I haven't been just writing rules if he's watching. And there's also because go back to the rules. George and I have been talking a lot about other army lists we'd like to do. So we started to plan those. So, quite excited. It's all quite exciting.
I personally love having army lists and something to help guide my building, so then I can go look at our store and say, right, what do we make? Okay, I need these and these and these. And then
what I'd like to do is, and we plan to do, once we finalize the list, I'll put them online so people can go and look at them before they get the rules, because I think they need to see that. That's quite exciting.
Interesting. Well, I've personally been extremely busy, and I'm very, very thankful for the support, customer support. Holiday, I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to take one, to be honest with you. I really am. But not because of COVID, but just no. But I'm very, very thankful and very grateful for all. So it's really neat seeing it. It's like Christmas holidays every day as far as packing and sorting.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, that people at times. I mean, it's ideal, isn't it, being at home and you be able to do some hobby. And I know we're doing work and stuff as well, but it's been surprising the support we've had from people. It's good, because I won't, lie about it. At the beginning of all this, it was very worrying,
right?
And it still is. We don't know what's going to happen, but our community and our customers are really supported us, which is brilliant.
So thank you all. I do appreciate
Thank you very much. Definitely.
We've been very fortunate that we control our production. So we've been very fortunate with that. And that's why we made a decision not to shut, and we just continue to produce. So that's wonderful. So we have a couple topics real quick I think we should discuss that people have been asking about. Let's start with Mortal Gods Mythic.
Okay, so we're still shipping the Kickstarter. We kind of started a bit earlier than we probably could have shipping it, and I think the phrase is "shot yourself in the foot." So as we got stuff, we started to ship a bit early. So of course, everybody being dead excited started posting it. To which then the next post was normally, "Where's mine?" Which is fair enough.
Of course.
Because obviously everybody wants it, and so far the feedback from the people who've got it is great. They're all loving it. So so from that perspective, it's really good. But I think we thought we were doing a good thing by trying to ship some of the stuff early. But I think what we did then was we actually disappointed quite a few people, which was never our intention to obviously disappoint anybody. So lesson learned. Going forward, we'll make sure we've got the stuff, or the majority of the stuff, picked, packed, and ready to dispatch before we send it out, and then that way nobody will feel as if they're being left out. And that's probably a fairer way to do it. And so that's what we'll do going forwards. I mean, obviously we're gonna ship the Barons of War Kickstarter 2 for Andy, and we'll if we can make all of the stuff with that ton of metal we need.
We've ordered a ton of metal.
Yes, people. We've actually ordered a physical ton of metal to fulfill the Kickstarter. So we'll do that with Andy's Kickstarter. We're already collating stuff and packing stuff and getting it ready. But nobody's going to get it early this time. We will just make sure that we've got a good majority of it all together, ship it at the same time, so that everybody's getting it around the same time. And that that feels fairer. I mean, myself, you know, if I'd got it earlier, I'd have been like, woohoo, you know. But then I understand if I was one of the guys who didn't get it until late, I would definitely be, oh, that sucks. So yeah, so we'll do it this, yeah. Yeah, so we'll do it this way. It's fairer, I think.
Well, lesson learned, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely lesson learned. Yeah, you know.
Well, no good deed goes unpunished.
That is very true. One of my favourite sayings. So I do no good deeds.
No good so, well, was it yesterday or the day before, Andy, you posted, was it 20,000 blister cards?
Yeah, we did. I did 20,000. Yeah, I know. We did some maths using the back of the backer kit, and it won't be exactly 20,000, but it won't be far off blisters wise. So yeah, it's amazing. I'm absolutely blown away by all. The range for the Barons War 2 stuff, because we put the Barons War 1 in the backer kit as well, but the 2, all of them are over 500 blisters we need.
Yep.
Wow.
So which is fantastic, so yeah, we got some work ahead.
Yep.
But,
well, I'm looking forward to having them here. So when we go live after the Kickstarter,
Yep. Good to go as well. Yeah.
So speaking, go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's absolutely the plan. We'll go live in both.
Yep. And speaking of that is so after Mythic Kickstarter is fulfilled, what's the plan for Mythic?
So we'll obviously, the plan is to get everything out by the end of August. We're online to do that. People will know that we've been waiting for some bits and pieces. So this week I've stuck over 30 Minotaurs together in bags. So we've had the resin done, all the bits put together. So that's good. I think I've done about 20 Cyclops. I don't know if there's a plural for Cyclops, Cycli.
Cycli, yeah.
And some other bits and pieces as well. People seem to have liked the Hydra Severed heads. I've packed loads of those this week. I've just spent all week packing stuff. I could tell you every detail of Jason and the Argonauts and his bleeding armor because I've looked at that many. But yeah, I've been literally doing that this week so that we're ready, so that when the guys come back on Monday, we can go and get another pile of stuff out. And our resins man is getting fed up with the sight of me because every 2 minutes I'm going, "Have you made anything yet? Can I have some more, please? Where's the next one?" Yeah. Can I have some more? So, and anybody who knows resins will know that it's not a fast process. We do it the traditional way, where you have a proper mold, gravity pull, and it's not fast, and the resin takes time to set, and then you have to peel the mold apart and take the miniature out, and then you put another one in, and so it's not quick. So bless him, he's like going as fast as he can. And we're getting there, but we're still not complete yet. But a couple of weeks at the end of August, I'm confident that all the orders will be out by then. So good. And then obviously, what I would hate to happen would be for somebody to have ordered it on the Kickstarter, and then us go live and put it on the Footsore web store, and somebody order it and get it before they do. So there will be.
Oh no, you can't go live until
exactly. So
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll probably leave it at least 4 weeks between the last order shipping and us going live. So that means that will be end of September, start of October. So that will be the plan. Yeah. So we got there in a long-winded way. Yes, it will be up on the web store end of September, start of October, and then look out because I just think we've got some cracking monsters and beasties in that set, and Trisha's already started on some more, so I'm even more excited.
Oh, that's cool. Well, so the plan with Mythic, once it's released the story, we'll have a dual release, so here in the US as well as there in the UK.
Yeah, and then the next thing after that is the Kickstarter is very faction heavy based on the goals. and it wasn't very. There wasn't a lot of support for the heroes and stuff. So we've got Matt Bickley sculpting a couple of figures ready for every month to release. So once we go live on the store, we can then start releasing some of the heroes as well for the hero faction, and then those will just keep popping out as we go. So we've got a list of a dozen or so guys that we want to, and girls that we want to release, and Matt's working on those for us. So that's really quite exciting.
So is he going to do all the heroes, Mark?
That's the plan. I mean, Jason's already done, so he won't have to do Jason.
Yeah, of course.
The name of the game is Matt is going to fulfill the full list. Yeah.
Wow. So all the cards.
I hope so. You know,
brilliant.
As long as I don't wear his fingers to the bone, or he gets incredibly bored and goes, Mark, I really don't want to do Greek heroes anymore. So yes, you know, I'd like to think that you can get that. You know, it's you know, obviously, I come from a gaming background. We all come from a gaming background, and there's nothing more frustrating than when you start collecting an army or a force, you can't get all of it.
Yeah, agree.
And that for me, that's one of the most frustrating things. You know, if I'm building an army or something, I got excited about something. I go and look at the manufacturers and stuff that I like, obviously Footsore, but I go and have a look and I look at those. You know, can I get my command groups and my standard bearers and my positions and my elite troops and my regular troops and my levies, for want of a better word? Is it all there? You know, and if it is, great. You know, if it's not, it's a bit like, do I go somewhere else so I can have some you know,
right,
a more complete army? But you know, so for me, it's you know, it's completing the project. That's what you know.
Yes.
You know, as a gamer, that's what I want.
Yeah. Same here. And whenever we didn't talk about the moderns, but whenever I do something for moderns, especially vehicles or extra bits, I always try to think, is this a complete package that someone is looking for something? They can just purchase that complete package. They don't have to go, I need to go out to somebody else, because we're all gamers. So we all understand that frustration.
Yeah. And also at the basic level is I don't want to pay 2 lots of postage.
No.
That's just you, Andy. That's just you.
No.
And talking of moderns, though, Tim, your frogmen, I like them. Yeah. So, what else is happening with those guys? Because obviously you've got the frogmen, and I kind of like the comic-y vibe you got with those guys. So, what else are you thinking with those?
Well, I love the pulp range. I love pulp gaming, and first of all, those frogmen. We're all painted in oils, and so I've been playing around with oil paints. I've been trying to paint figures in oils since I was a little kid, and I follow James Wapple, the artist, and been working with him. And the videos that he's been putting out, he just makes it easy. So
and he's a terribly nice guy too, which makes it doubly bad.
Well, he talked to me, so apparently, right. So I was very excited and did a lot of playing around with oils, and the speed of which you can paint stuff in oils with the blending and the shading, it's just wonderful. So I wanted to try that with the frogmen, and when we released the new winter packs for the Naga, I just was trying to put something out for winter, just working for a scenery type thing. Okay, as a child, I love playing in the snow, so what can we put out to support that here? I've had a lot of people ask me to do more frogmen and other stuff like that, so definitely investigating that as well.
Cool.
Because like I said, I love playing pulp type games. And what is pulp games? You know, pulp gaming can be anywhere from the late 1800s to current day, but I love the 20s, 30s, or even the 60s. You know, so
is that because you were alive then, Tim?
No. Well, maybe in a past life. I'm probably in a past life once or twice, I'm sure, but you know. But no. But that's where I'm at, and I'm very grateful for people that sending me ideas daily of what to do next.
And there you go. There's an idea for you. Alex Simmons has said, any plans to do your own rule set for the moderns? Just saying. something with the structure like Mortal Gods would be amazing.
Well, I love that suggestion, and I do want you to know that yes.
That's what we like, succinct. Yes.
Yes. We have someone very special, not including Andy and Mark, but helping us with this project. So yes, it's from, and I do apologize because I've been asked that many times. I have not had the headspace. This has been a very interesting year for me here, with expanding and molding and casting darn near all of the Footsore range here, and then selling other products and all that sort of stuff. But now I have the opportunity to sit down and go, One thing I love about games such as ours is that I love having card decks, and I love having extra bits and bobs to purchase to go along with those games. So look for a lot of things like that. That's what I've been.
I think a Moderns game would be really cool with cards and stuff.
Right.
Because you have such tight, you could do it with such tight teams.
Yep.
You know, you could specialize them all. They wouldn't all have to be the same, would they? They could all be armed differently and do some really cool stuff with it.
Yeah, gnomes about. So, yes, can't give away all of our secrets, but yes, yes, it is definitely there. I don't know, Andy. When you say when is it going to be done? You just say 3 months, 4 months, 6 months. The big thing for me is I want to make sure that it's play tested a lot.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. If we're going to do, if we are going to do something, then it needs to be right, doesn't it?
Right.
The only way you know that is
Alex has said, just grab the Mortal Gods book, copy and paste, add the source, done.
Mortal Gods Modern.
Yeah.
Modern contractor.
Yeah.
Modern contractors. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that you know, the key to all of these things that we've done is playtesting, give it to people, feedback, playtest, feedback, and I think that's why, you know, blowing our own trumpet, we've managed to do some stuff that people really like. So, you know,
well, it's interesting,
but that does add time to the project, you know. But at the end, the finished project is good.
Yes, I totally agree with you, and it doesn't matter about adding time, does it? Is that you need to get it right. I mean, when we started with Mortal Gods, we took Test of Honor. You know, having developed it with Graham, we were going to just reskin Test of Honor, and it was going to be Test of Courage, and it was good. That was what Mortal Gods was going to be.
I remember that.
And we played it, and we played it like that for quite a while, and it just didn't feel right, did it? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, a lot of the mechanics are similar, but they're not the same, and the game changed and became its own thing. So, I think when you're playtesting is so important that it shapes the game itself. That's the thing. You know, you have this idea in your head about what it should be, but by playtesting, it becomes something else.
And you know what? I think you made, for me, the importance when I'm playing 28mm figures or any kind of historical or any type of gaming.
Is there other?
Is what's going on in here.
Yes, totally. Oh, yeah, totally.
My imagination. If my imagination is seeing what's more of what's going on that table right now, and then being able to play with these, because that's what we're doing. We're playing.
Yeah, of course we are.
That's when I think you've touched that the purpose of having a very good set of rules, and it allows you to play and use your imagination and do everything. My thing always is I overthink things a lot.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that, though, is there? There's nothing wrong with overthinking things. That's fine. No. And for me, it has to feel right.
Right.
So, and you can only get that from playtesting. So we cooked up some great rules before, and I brought stuff to the table which I think would be amazing, and we played it, and it's rubbish. It really doesn't work, you know. And obviously, exactly, yeah. So, but you have to accept that, and those changes will happen, and get rid of it, you know. And I brought what I believe are some really great mechanics that are going to change the entire gaming world, and they are shocking.
You heard it here first, folks.
So you've got to accept that, because it is a game.
Right.
Yes.
It's a game, and the number one for me, you have to have fun. It's got to be enjoyable.
Right.
So if it's neither of those two things, then what's the point?
What's the point? But what I love about it, like I said, is also what builds what you have to build onto the game that you've created.
Yes.
Meaning, what scenario books, what decks of cards, what dice, all the fun stuff that adds to the universe of that game. That I find that I can't speak for you guys, but I know if I like a set of rules or a universe, I'll buy everything they make.
Yeah. But that's when you create a good game, where you know that the structure of it is really sound and the basic mechanics and the way it plays is really good, and then you can layer all of that stuff on top. Mark and George, George Asling, who we play test a lot with, are very good at that bit. Putting the stuff on top of it. I let them get on. They're way better at it than I am, and I just let them get on with it.
Yeah, that's mostly because I'm trying to find ways to win.
Oh, mate.
So I guess that was a long way of saying yes. We're definitely doing moderns. I just wanted to, for me, I wanted to be in a place where I could do it and do it right, so that we didn't put out a set of rules and then, well, here's a addendum. Here's a I don't want to do that, and I don't want to confuse people. I want people to have fun.
But also, your range of moderns are so nice. It needs a set of rules that are equally good to go with them.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and we are definitely now in a much better place to do it. So thank you, and I welcome ideas. You can always message me, and I'm always open to ideas. And so
I'll send you some.
Oh crap! I would love it. I'd love it. Okay, so. Great segue. Let's talk about Mortal Gods in general.
Yeah.
So it seems to be having a little bit of resurgence at the moment, which is very exciting to see. And there's loads of people playing, which is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of the historical wargamer though in everybody, and everybody still thinks they're trying to maneuver phalanxes and stuff. So we need more scenery on the board, gentlemen. Just saying, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, but why is that? Why do we need more scenery in a Mortal Gods game?
Well, shall I speak? Yeah, it's a skirmish game.
Yeah.
If we were being historically accurate, they would never, and we were having a battle, they would never have fought on some of these tables. In Greece, they'd already selected their battlegrounds and they would meet on them to fight, and they would be like bowling greens for the phalanx. So that's not the idea for Mortal Gods. The idea for Mortal Gods is that it's more of a skirmish game. So they're fighting in and around bits of terrain, that kind of stuff. So it needs more. It's been written with that in mind.
It's all it's the unsung heroes and all the skirmishes and stuff. How does somebody get to be a commander of a low cost? Well, he doesn't just get born into it in ancient Greece, although money helps, but he will be an experienced fighter. Where did he get the experience? Well, they're not fighting Thermopylae every week, so he will have been off skirmishing up and down mountain passes, checking routes and stuff. Yeah, been on. Will have probably been out guarding a fort, or maybe gone raiding, and will have done loads of stuff to build up his military history. And Mortal Gods is all about that stuff, and if you get unless you're me, in which case your commander normally gets killed quite quickly. If you're somebody who gets to play a few games with your commander and stuff, and you get to build up a bit of history for him, you can imagine where he's got all of this skill set and stuff from and his experience, and it makes it much more personal to you, and it makes it much more individual. So instead of looking at a row of shields and a row of helmet slits, eye slits, your man actually means something to you, and his mates do as well, because there ain't many of them. So each individual guy is a person who can make a difference to the game, and all of this stuff was going on all of the time. But it doesn't make it into the history books and that, because it was all a bit blah, because it's going on all the time. But actually, if you're in the middle of it and somebody's trying to put a sword through your chest, it's quite important. So, and that's the feel and that the idea you want. So you won't get the big battles, you won't get the big open spaces. It's all of the as the sun goes down, as the sun rises, out of sight of the majority of the population. All that manoeuvring and stuff between states that is constantly going on as you test each other's borders and each other's strengths and weaknesses, and that's what it's all about for me anyway.
And it's not a mass battle game. It's a skirmish game.
In short. So when you say scenery, for someone like myself, that's what kind of scenery are you talking? I see you've got beautiful wells and stuff like that.
I would. For me, if I was setting up a table for Mortal Gods, I would think of it in 1 foot square sections, and I would put a piece of line blocking terrain in each of those squares. So if you were playing 3x3, I would put something in each of those, and not just dogmatically do it, but start like that, and then between the two of you, just move it around and make it quite thematic. But there should be lots of line breaking terrain.
Yeah, and
trees.
It doesn't matter. Trees are a really good basic, because most war gamers have those. But your hills and stuff, and I know we like to put ruined temples on our boards, and some people go, "Oh, they were all ruined."
They're always fighting and pulling them down.
They're always fighting and pulling them down. Yeah, especially in our period, just after the Persian Wars, when the Persians pulled loads of them down. But the idea that you can grab your existing scenery and use it is great. If you want more thematic scenery, then that's great. People who know me know that I've been in the hobby since I was a young lad, and I have a huge scenery collection. So I can, if I want to go and get a temple, I could probably go and lay my hands on one. If I want some hills or rocky terrain, I could probably go and lay my hands on it. Those kind of things. But using what you got is great. The important thing is that you have got all of that scenery on the board. And Andy's right. If you've got a 3 foot by 3 foot, that's 9 pieces of scenery, and that could be a wall and a little olive grove and a ruined building and a hill and just some rough ground, anything, but just to give it that feel. And when you start doing that, it suddenly turns into a very different game.
I bet. Yep. One of the popular items here is the Mortal Gods camp set. So that's an awesome.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's a lovely set. It's a lovely set. We need to get it up on our website so we can sell it as well. Well mentioned, Tim. Thank you.
I'll tell you what else is quite cool, I think. Sarissa's Mediterranean village that they've done. Where it slots together. I'd really like to play a game on a whole of Mortal Gods in a village, that whole village. You see their big set that they do, and you've got those 3 different buildings and you've got the walls and stuff. I'd really like to play a game in there.
Yeah, that's cool. Lovely. That is absolutely.
I have that entire set.
Yeah. Tim has it.
Back there.
Yeah. Tim has some scenery I don't have. What's going on?
Yeah. Well,
Alex said too much kills a phalanx and makes its bonus pointless, as it can't actually move across the board. Yeah, well,
then break your phalanx.
Break your phalanx and reform it. The idea for the phalanx was to give you defense. It's a skirmish game, so we added the phalanx because it's hoplites, and we called it a phalanx because we didn't want to, and it's not really a phalanx. The idea is meant to be the Greeks forming up just to protect themselves. This idea, you may start in a phalanx and move forwards, but I always it was a delivery mechanism to break up. That's how I always saw it. So,
it was more of a mechanism to move troops a lot faster, and then you get you disperse.
Yeah, get your men across the board, and then but once you get in amongst the enemy, you're actually quite exposed on the flanks, and you can. It's a good defensive unit, but if you're playing like I normally do aggressively, your phalanx breaking then into 3 units and fighting individually can be a lot more effective because hoplites are hard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so that's Mortal Gods. Let's talk about what I love, Dark Ages. Where are we at? What's new? What's cooking for the Dark Ages?
Oh, so I'll mention Matt Bickley again. We're spending a lot of time chatting with Matt at the moment. So obviously we did a really nice range of late Saxons, which have gone bonkers for everybody. Everybody loves them, and they are just, in my mind, they are the best Dark Age range of Saxons. That may be contentious, but that's what I think. But he's done some more for us. So our original plan was when we were doing them, we were thinking more like sets of maybe 3 figures. That was kind of like where we were at with them, and we've decided since then actually we like 4 figures. So Matt's made us some more stuff, some of which which obviously hasn't been seen before, to go with the existing range. So we'll change the way we sell those packs when the new ones are added. So and he's done some just like some just really nice characterful guys that you just look at them and go, you might only be a slinger, but he's gorgeous, so in a manly kind of way. They're just all just full of nice character and stuff, and I just think can't describe it very well, but they are just beautiful, and they will really complement what he's done already, and it will really make the Saxon range nicer than it is already.
Yeah, we've released 12, I think.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
There's 3 packs of 12s. I think there might be 16, but it's a command group.
Yeah, there's a command group. There's the guy with the hand weapons. There's the guy with the spears.
So there's 16 we've released. And we were talking about 3s and stuff, but that was my fault again because when we started doing the Saxons, we were going to kind of mirror. It was a Dark Age game, which was again going to mirror the kind of Test of Honor, Mortal Gods kind of thing, and that's changed now totally. So we thought we may as well sell them in 4s like the rest of our Dark Age range. So I think with 30, there's about at least 30 in the range. I think with those 16 out, I think there's another 16 to come.
About that, yeah.
And they're beautiful. They're all really, really nice. So they'll be out soonish. I think the reason why the stuff that we've shown already, like last year, hasn't come out because we want to release them all together. That's fair to say, isn't it?
Yeah. They'll work really well together. I think again, everybody will go, "Oh, I feel like I can make a complete force with these." And again, we're kind of thinking skirmish gaming with them. Again, we're not thinking shield wall big battles. So there's some nice, like I say, they've all got like a lot of individual character and stuff. So they'll be like.
Well, I think I agree. I think if you took those, just the stuff that Matt's done for us, you could use them as a force in the new rules.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm excited to see them myself, so that's cool. Kings and characters.
Yeah. So again, Mr. Matt Bickley's getting a lot of credit tonight. So we did originally, obviously, Salute this year was cancelled, postponed, and we wanted to have a nice figure for Salute. Matt Bickley sculpted us Richard, which everybody will recognise him with arm in the air and his helmet tucked under his arm and his shield on his back. Looks stay good. And everybody went bonkers for him. Obviously, because it was Richard, King of England. all round genuine hard guy. Regardless if he was killed by a French chef, but that's another story.
And how many days did he spend in England, Mark?
30 was it? And probably not all together. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot out of his entire reign, but obviously it's just another bit of his kingdom at the time. But everybody went bonkers for him, and so we asked Matt if he would do us some more figures. We wanted to do some historical figures, and we wanted to do not necessarily just all the kings and stuff, but some other bits and pieces. So Matt sculpted us a few figures, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. We'll just have to wait and see every month. But the first one he's done for us. So we did Richard. The next one he's done for us. He's done Longshanks, which is obviously a very popular king in England, but not very popular in Scotland and Wales. So we will balance the books later. But he's again, the idea is that we'll put him out there. And what we do is, obviously at Footsore, we have a free monthly figure. If you spend £35, you get him for free. And it's a Matt Bickley sculpt, so why wouldn't you? I've already acquired one for myself to paint.
By the way, I've been asked that a couple times today and yesterday. They are in the mold for here, so I have the figures here in the United States.
So this. I'm glad you brought that up, Tim, because you said, so I'll take my pointing finger out of the way. Obviously, we want that relationship between the UK and the US for Footsore, where the logical choice is if you're buying in the United States of America, you buy from Footsore US. So there should be the same offers. So we've been trying to get ahead of the game to make sure that if we have an offer available here, Tim can have it in the US as well.
Yeah, totally.
So because we're the same, we're virtually the same business doing the same thing. So everybody should have the same offer. And the logical choice is if you're in the US, that you buy from Tim and the offer's the same. So and that's the way it should be. So the plan is to do that. And so the next few months you will see that as Footsore UK and Footsore US will have the same offer on the free miniature, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but actually takes more organising. It actually takes more organising than you think.
Months and months in planning.
Months and months in planning. Yeah.
That goes as well as far as new moderns. So these gents over here have done a really good job of kind of slowing me down a little bit. Instead of me pumping out new figure ranges 3, 4, 5, 6 per month, going a bit slower, so then the figures will then be cast in both areas, so that day when they go live, both stores. It's a bit of a challenge doing it. It's a different mindset for me, but it's wonderful. Actually, it's nice for me because I don't feel like, oh my God, I got to get this out. So we're going to see that. It's not just for the Dark Ages stuff. It's also for moderns and the vehicles.
Yeah,
so
it should be for everything. So that when you choose where you buy from Footsore, you feel that you've got the same choice. That's what it should feel like. So that's what we're aiming for. So little steps, but we're getting there.
Let's see here. Well, Baron's Wars.
Yes. Back to the Baron's Wars.
Back to Baron's Wars.
Yes.
You got the rules.
Yes.
What about so the figures when they're going to be fulfilled? We talked about that towards a couple months, right?
I think they will be towards the end of the year. I think the amount.
Glad you didn't say end of August then.
Do you know what, Mark? I don't think it would be actually possible to do it. So I think it will be towards the end of this year, because we're going to sit on it all and send it all together.
Yeah,
is the plan. After like Mark was saying earlier about Mythic, all the good intentions of sending it as it came in, we're going to send it all together. I don't want anybody to feel as though
they're being left behind.
They've been left behind or left out, whatever. However, what we will do, and I have every intention of doing this, is once the rules have been laid out and we have a digital copy ready for the printer, we will send that as a PDF to everybody who's backed us. So the rule they should get a copy of the rules before their pledges land. So hopefully that will be sometime in October, but don't hold me to that. That's if everything goes as planned. So yeah, the rules are done, and like I was saying earlier, I just got some history to write for the background of what we're playing against and the forward, and then it will be off. It'll be off being edited properly and laid out. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be great, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people think of it.
Will it be in any other format other than PDF?
Yeah. Everybody who at the moment, what will happen is everybody who's backed us will get it. Even if they've just backed £1. But also everybody who has backed for at least a pack of miniatures will get a printed copy. So we will print it. It's going to be a nice little A5 book is the plan. I'm not quite sure how big it will be, but it has grown somewhat as we've been writing it. So it will be comprehensive, but it's still an alpha, which is what the idea. So it will have everything to play. It'll have army lists for everything that we've released in the Baron's War, and there's rules for all of the characters. So you'll have rules for King John, as Mark's been playing King John, evil King John.
Good King John.
Did I see lions on that?
Yes, I painted a lot of those lions.
How many lions did you paint, Mark, for the
so King John's got 18 lions on him, of which I painted 12, and then I used the really good Citadel 6 transfers for his shield and for his chest piece, because if any of you guys have had the Citadel 6 transfers off us, you've got different sizes. You normally get a banner in the pack, get a couple of different shield designs for the heater shields, and some stuff for the front as well. So it was to be honest, it was the first time I'd used the Citadel 6 waterslide transfers, and they were brilliant on the shield and on his surcoat on the front. So that saved me 6 shields. I was six lines. I was very pleased about that.
He looks awesome. He looks awesome, but he has been captured every game though, Mark, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yes, but
he's highly decorated. He must be worth something.
He every time we play tested using him, he has been winning the day to then throw it all away, hasn't he, Mark?
Well, that, as I mentioned earlier, is because I'm an aggressive player and John's not. It's my wife in the background. And
the cat.
And the cat. I just can't not get him stuck in, and he's not really designed for getting stuck in and doing the fighting stuff. He's more of a. He's more of a. I think more of a. Mere of a grand thinker and better off commanding from the rear. He needs to be able to think about stuff and direct his troops properly. He's more of a modern commander, I would say, than an ancient commander who feels like he needs to lead from the front. So I think that's fair.
Well, why lead from the front when he has people to go far?
Exactly. That's why they call him Good King John, because he's good at sending his men in front.
I have people for that, and that's what villages are for. We'll get more.
Yeah, George has said he looks cracking from the back, is what he says, because George has seen him running off every game, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just say George only wins because he writes the rules. That's what I'm saying.
So yes, back to that. So that's where we are. There'll be a printed version for people.
Great. I gotta have printed. I still love the printed versions. Got to have that, and that will be a must for the modern. I understand PDFs. People like PDFs, and so that they can read it on their tablets and stuff. But I'm old school. I still like the copy.
No, I agree. I think so too, and I also think A5 is a good size. You know, if it's for the rules, you know, to be able to take with you wherever you're going to go. But the way that the rules have been written, I hope that you'll only need the rules for the first couple of games, and then after that, the quick reference guide should be enough. And you should only be in the rules when you really need it. It's it's like me, the Baron's War. It's quite simple, you know. So we've kept the playability to be quite simple, really. So
you know, I think once we obviously as a play tester, sometimes it's a bit challenging because it changes a little bit. But once you've got the basics in your head, it moves really fast, and it's really good fun. I must admit, I've really enjoyed playing it. I mean, you can always tell if I've enjoyed playing something because I start painting lots of toy soldiers for it. And I painted a few Baron's War figures now.
And you've got really argumentative, Mark, when you've been playing, which is always a good sign, isn't it?
I'm always argumentative, but yes, it is a good sign.
I thought I'd have to physically separate him and George the other week, but there was social distancing, so it was okay. But it got quite heated. I thought, tick, my job here is done. These rules are ready to go.
Right, off to the printer.
So no, it is very different though to Mortal Gods. It's very different to anything else we've done. It's very different to what it was before we started. Again, going back to talking about play testing, the vision I had for this game in my head is not what we're releasing.
Right.
No.
It's a very different game, and all the more and all the better for it. I think. Yeah, totally. You know, we really give it some real flexibility, so you can choose your force, and you can make your force very individual to you. So, which I think is great. So, you know, you have spearmen, but there's 4 types of spearmen. You can have whatever level you want. You can put a sergeant in there to lead them if you want. You can put a knight in to lead them. You can have 3 spearmen. You could have 10 spearmen in a unit. You know, you've got real flexibility around what you want to do. So there isn't much rules really for building your force. You know, it's as simple as 50% of your army, of your points value, can be command groups. You know, and 50%, you know, up to 50% can be command groups. That's simple. You must have 3 infantry in a unit. You must have 2 cavalry. But again, that's a sliding scale. And when we say command groups, they're your characters, so like your commanders. So you buy your character or your commander, and you then can put him with any group that you want to. So, but you know, with the only caveat that knights won't lead levy and sergeants can't lead knights. But besides that, you can build them into anything you want them to be. So, you know,
speaking of the character group, we just recently here in the U.S. got the Normans done, and we've got all the molds. The William of Normandy figure is gorgeous.
They're beautiful. And they're so beautiful, those Normans. And again, they were done by Paul, who did all who I worked with on the Barons' War. So they even the Normans and the troops from the Barons' War, they just totally go together.
It's beautiful. Because I looked at him today and I said, that's my next, I think that's the next figure I'm going to paint in oils with the beautiful horse. But the character, the face, it's like, right, that's good on you. So it's definitely, sorry to cut you off.
No, not at all. No, not at all. And you know, it'll be interesting to see what people think of that as for the game itself, because even though it's crossbowmen, bowmen, spearmen, etc., what we know they are, levy, knights, sergeants, it doesn't seem that there's a lot of choice in what you can take. So what we've done is we've taken those different troop types and we've given lots of choice within them. So my 1,000-point retinue will be totally different to yours, Tim, totally different to yours, Mark, because you have that freedom to really make it quite individual. So you can play in a certain way, you can choose to paint your force in a certain way, so it's we've kept it quite flexible, really. So it's quite cool, I think it is. We'll wait and see what people think.
We'll wait till we get the feedback. But I've really enjoyed playing it, which I think is a good sign, and George has as well. And I've taught him how to play properly as well now. So he was very quiet when he started, but he's in there now.
He's got quite competitive.
And he's a big lad.
Well, I personally am looking forward to any new supplements for revolving around Crusades. That's what I'm interested in.
Yes, well, yeah, it will definitely happen. I envisage these rules when we started them that they'd go from 1067 to the 1300s. So you're covering all of that kind of chainmail period.
Yeah.
But they can go further back. I say 1067 just because I'm thinking that with the Normans and knights, they were like first real knights, and the Anglo-Normans and all the French nobles and all of that kind of stuff to kind of create it. And the backdrop to that entire period from 1098 to 1298, whatever 1090 to 1298 is the Crusades. So I think what we would do is George has gone me never. The way that I want to, we're definitely going to do them. I'm already talking to Paul about miniatures. We've already got a plan, but I kind of like the idea of doing the Outremer, the states over the sea. So lots of people talk about the crusade and everybody goes on crusade, and I'm more interested in the kingdoms and the principalities that they set up and the forces that would be there. So that's the take on it for me, I think. So you when they all went crusading and they went over, they did their bit as they said they would. A lot of the knights and the sergeants and stuff that went on crusade, they'd have all their land back home, so they would leave and go home. So you'd obviously have a force of these guys, and there's quite a large period to go at for that. So it's finding which one we would drop in on. But then you've got all of the settlements and the forces that were actually set over there. So you've obviously got all your holy orders, but you've also got they weren't all Europeans, white Europeans in these in what you would think of as Crusader forces. They became quite mixed because they settled and they adopted different customs and different weaponry and different armor. So I think you could have some really quite exciting retinues. That you can
quite exotic looking as well.
Quite exotic looking, yeah. I think that's what appeals to me. I think, and obviously there's a king in Jerusalem, but there's a prince. There's principalities. So you've got the 4 or 5 states over there, and the mix of different knights. So there's a lot we could go at with that, I think.
Beautiful. I'm just thinking all these different ideas, scenarios that could be before everyone gets on the boat in any type of competition.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, totally. And also the whole trip to get there in the first place. And there's my wife's island of Cyprus, slap bang in the middle there, which was quite an important island for the Crusaders, as she keeps telling me. You've got all of that. That was I'm sure Cyprus was a kingdom, wasn't it? I think there was a king of Cyprus. There was definitely a prince of Cyprus. I think there's a king. So there's all of that too.
Fun.
And I tell her she's Greek Cypriot, but I keep telling her it's in the Middle East. Which is quite fun.
So Cyprus. Is that next year?
Yes, we've already started planning for it. Yes, that will be the next Kickstarter, I think, from Paul and I.
My God, it's August. I mean,
yeah. Paul and I want to do something around that, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Great.
Cool. Somebody's asked us if we're going to do elephants.
That's the guys from Family Gamers, isn't it? Who are doing some great stuff at the moment for Mortal Gods. Yeah.
They've done some cracking stuff. Yeah, and I think again, like all of these things, it's cyclical. We will go round and look at it again, but yeah. I think we shout quite loud, but we're not that big a company, so we can only do certain things. We have to go and do stuff. I know the guys in the Gangs of Rome guys have been felt a bit left out recently, and because it's a long time since we did anything with Gangs of Rome. But we've got stuff going on there. We've just released some more of Rome's Most Wanted, and those interestingly have probably been sat in molds for the best part of 2 years. But it's taken us that long with all the other stuff we've had to do to get round to actually getting them out. So they're out, and then obviously the thing we talked about before was the campaign book, and that's bubbling along quite nicely. So that's we're feeling quite confident that that's going to be going to be good and exciting. And again, it's one of those things where you have to spend you have to give it the love and attention. But obviously, Andy can talk about nothing except Baron's Wars at the moment. We're working on that as well. So yeah, because Gangs of Rome for us is it's the first game that we released, and it's been really popular, and people liked it because it was different. It wasn't a military game. It's really about well, like it says on the tin, Gangs of Rome. It's about the civilians. So. And it's got some good mechanics and stuff. So, it's nice to go back and revisit that. And it's interesting because when we do a project and it comes out to the public, to you guys, it's old hat for us. We've kind of like moved on. But it's nice to go back and look at it and then get the passion reignited for it that we had when we first did it. I went, oh yeah, this was really good. Oh yeah, why you never got around to doing this? Come on, let's get this bit done and get that all sorted.
Is he frozen?
So it's quite exciting as well. Constant cycle.
It's 3 years though, Gangs of Rome, isn't it?
Yeah, I think yes. Yeah, but time's gone up fast. Who you running your own company would be so much fun.
Yeah. And to that, I'm asked a lot as well about, hey, have you thought about going back to another one of your ranges and expanding? And the answer is yes. It's just there's always something else coming up, so it'd be a challenge.
I think when we look at some of our older ranges sculpted by Bill, they've stood the test of time quite well. And the ranges are quite good. They're not might not all be 100% complete, but they're not far off. I mean, the Arab range is fantastic that we've just re-released. I mean, there's just loads of them. I mean, you should be able to pretty much make anything Arab that you want. From the 11th century forward, it's just such a it's a really good complete range. So a lot of the old stuff we look at and we go, maybe some of it now looks a bit dated, but actually they're still good solid miniatures. Bill's style is quite clean, so if you're painting units and stuff, they paint really well. They've got a nice feel to them. So there's a lot of good stuff there that there's none of it where I look at it and I go, oh, we really need to replace that. That's not us anymore. So we will go back and look at other stuff. Obviously, we'll keep doing that, and the older ranges will drop back and be replaced by newer stuff. But those things are much longer term projects compared to where we're at now and what we're doing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yep. So where are we with Gangs of Rome then, Mark?
That's a good question. I think the campaign pack is this year. and it's only August, so you notice I'm giving myself a little bit of leeway there. And do you know what? I feel A, quite excited about it myself. B, I feel like we've made and B, I feel like we've made a lot of progress on it recently. So I'm thinking that that'll be really good. And then when we do it, we will have a look at the Gangs of Rome range and look at how we're offering those guys to the public, because we had a really complicated offer before, where you could buy a figure with separate arms and separate heads, and it was on a puddle base. And when you play Gangs of Rome, it's not what you see is what you get, so it doesn't really necessarily matter about having lots of weapon choices and stuff. And as soon as we had, I think it was Darren painted them, Darren Linnington, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as he did those cobblestone bases, that was it. Everybody wanted cobblestone bases. And when they're on the metal puddle bases, it's quite difficult to mold them onto a puddle base. So we'll probably, take the range off the puddle bases and have them so that they can just sit on cobblestone bases, and offer those as well, and maybe offer them as one piece casts as well, just to keep it simpler. And also the other thing we want to do is try and make the entry point for people a little bit lower financially, because you paid £8 for a fighter, which, as far as I was concerned, was good value for money, because you've just got a chock load of stuff in there. It wasn't just a fighter; it was his base and the coins and and the dice and the blood and all these kind of things. So there was a lot there. But we'll simplify that for people, because it was, and again, a lot of people felt they had to play within the confines of Rome, and so you bought lots of lovely Sarissa scenery, mostly because obviously they did a cracking range for us, which I think we asked for like a dozen things when we started, and they offered us about 60, and all brilliant stuff. And people bought a lot of it to play, which was lovely because it was really atmospheric, but it kind of made the entry point quite high. So we're gonna, within the campaign pack, you'll be able to play in other areas where you don't need all of that scenery. You still need scenery, but it could be olive groves, and it could be hills, and it could be
on a boat.
Be on a boat,
or in a warehouse, or in a bathhouse.
Exactly. It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere, because obviously Rome is vast. So that's where we're going with the campaign pack, so that we get all of these other options for people as well. So that's my roundabout way of saying, well, I'm not committing to a date.
But we're also not abandoning the products.
Oh, absolutely no! Gosh,
no, definitely not. Gangs. I would love to see the campaign pack for Gangs of Rome out this year. And I'm going, and the last quarter of this year, I think is realistic. So, barring disasters, that's when I want to see it going live for people, and people to get all excited about it, because I think it's going to be cracking. I'm really looking forward to it.
It's what the game needs.
Yes, it is what the game
needs. We create this game, we release this game. It's been really good, but now it needs more depth. And it needs people a reason to keep playing with the same gangs and that kind of stuff. And the stuff we've come up with already is quite exciting. You can have your Dominus or Domini can be on the board. You can have different types of gang members. You can have a nucleus and you recruit more people in. You can fight, like we were saying, in different places. There'll be different ways to fight. There'll be different rules. There'll be rules for fighting on your own turf. There'll be rules for fighting at night. There'll be rules for fighting in buildings. There's all sorts of machinations and, create your own in cola. There'll be it's going to have so much more depth, and it's really what it needs, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I love the figures. Who sculpted the first sets? The Bread and Circus, or Blood and the Aventine, and then Bread and Circuses. Who sculpted those?
Steve Suller.
Yes, Steve Suller sculpted the first ones for us. And at the time where we were based, Steve Suller was kind of like next door to us. And, we knew his sculpting work because he's
Steve Suller.
He's Steve Suller. So what do you need to say? And all of it is, I've got bucket loads of his ancients that he's done over the years. And he was the obvious choice to go to. And he just did a cracking job. I love his style. It's very smooth and it's very clean, and he did an absolutely lovely job on those fighters. And then I think Mr. Hicks did the mobs, and then and
that's what I thought.
He made them really characterful as well.
Yes. Well, the woman that's that's standing.
Yeah.
I love it. I thought that was Hicks.
Yeah. So those were Hicksy. So there's a bit of a mix in there. And then Stavros did some of Rome's Most Wanted as well, some of the latest ones we've released. So that's really good, and I really like those sets, and I like the little scenery pieces as well, because obviously I love scenery. They're just nice. They're just nice little sets, I just think they add a lot to it. It's not just some fighters, but there's a reason for the fighters to be where they are. So it's all.
And they're great objective markers, all those bits as well.
Yeah. And those objective markers as well, because they're set in that ancient period. You can if you want to use them for Mortal Gods or anything else as well, for anything around then, why wouldn't you?
Right. Fun. Well, we've talked a lot, so I don't have anything else. I think we've pretty much covered all the topics, unless you guys have any questions for me. I know I've been asking you guys a lot of the questions, but I have nothing else here.
No, I've got a pile of stuff from you arrived the other day. So when my caster comes back on Monday, we'll be looking at that. So
let me just have a quick look through while you guys are talking. Just see if anybody's asked any questions.
Thank you, Alex. You're quite right. It was a bargain at 50 quid, Mortal Gods. We did we were really helped out by Victrix there, who did a cracking deal on their plastics. So that allowed us to get a lot of stuff in the box.
Are the moderns available in resin? Not at this time. They're not. No. One of the reasons, and I had done some test resin because we spin cast resin here, and there were my very first pack of pulp figures. I did not like how the resin was with the barrels, and they were breaking off real easy, and I just did not want that to happen. So that's why they're not in resin.
Will the Mythic book be available on PDF?
Ooh. I don't know. That's like one of those technical computer type questions, Mr. Hobday.
Oh, it can be. It can be.
It can be. I mean, I'd like to think we can give people access to our rules in as many ways as possible. But I still write on a slate, so there's no point in asking me.
Yeah, of course we can. It's up to you. It's your product. So, but we just need to release it.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be until Mythic is released. But why not? Sure, why not?
Yeah.
A VBCW starter box larger pack deal would be pretty incredible. Asks Andrew George. Very British Civil War. I'd love to do a game. British Civil War.
Well, first of all, Andrew George is my mate here in St. Louis. He spent my friend Brad. He's unfortunately moved to Texas. Andrew is stepping in, and he's going to be part of Footsore North America. and I know that he loves that range. I was looking at it today, but to that, Andy, I think that would be a perfect supplement for the modern rules. Whole campaign book, devoted straight to that, because mechanics you have, so that would be great. And but yeah, Andrew, he's a good friend of mine. He spent, I think, the whole day over here helping me, and he's going to be here a lot more. So because I need it.
Good. Well, again, Bill started that range, and Paul Hicks, and Paul Hicks added to it. And there's some nice stuff, and we did some daft stuff. Like one of the Women's Institute is wearing a colander on her head, and the gardening guard. One of the guys has got one of those old spray guns and a basket full of angry ones, So we just gave him, a little bit of extra character. And for us, it's a very evocative period. There's a lot of really interesting alternative history going on. So we would definitely like to go back and visit that. And it's just like, it's just a bonkers period, The people in that period, a lot of them were just bonkers,
I'm a big fan of Jeeves and Wooster.
Yeah.
PG Woodhouse, all of that kind of stuff. So I would love, I'd love to do it.
I was looking at the Brigand Characters pack today, and I looked at that pack, thought, oh my God, there's 4 figures that could be perfect for pulp gaming. And so, that's, yep. They're great figures, and we've got to expand the range.
Yes.
Well, I think we should some rules. I'd love to do some rules to go with it, definitely. That was what I would like to do.
Yeah.
Alex Simmons again. When is the new card set for Mortal Gods coming? Might as well get all the questions in now.
Alex.
Hey, well, thank you for the questions.
I mean, we will. Again, you guys get to see the product. The process of actually doing cards and making cards and getting them printed and collated and out to you guys is actually quite time consuming, especially if you have thousands printed, because you don't want printing errors and mistakes and stuff and stuff like that. So even though from a gaming perspective, the cards are brilliant. I mean, for me, I've got a memory like a sieve. So and I was playing Mortal Gods, and I can have my force cards laid out, and I don't have to keep going to the other guy. What does that do? It's really useful and it's lovely. But when you sit there for a Sunday for the entirety of a Sunday packing them, it's not so much fun. Because when they come to you, they don't come. They can, they can come to you sorted, but it's not cheap.
They were the most expensive piece of the Mortal Gods box set with the cards.
Well, they're huge.
No, not just the cards weren't. Having them collated and shrink wrapped was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was a ridiculous price.
I mean, the guys who did it were professionals, and I'm sure the prices were right. But as a cost for the Mortal Gods game, and I tell you what, there was no way I was going to sit there and individually pack them. Do thick packs, but even the smaller card gets, like the Persians and the Thracians and the rest of it, it doesn't feel like a lot, but you have to put them all out in the separate piles. Then you go stick them in a bag. And it's quite time consuming. But that's only the end process. The actual designing and the layout and all the rest of it, and that is, it's to be fair. It's probably a 3 or 4 man job, because after a while you just keep seeing the same thing and you don't spot the mistakes and stuff, and it goes to somebody else and they come back and and in the meantime we might still have been play testing, and I go, I don't do that. I'm going to do this. So there's a lot goes into it before you guys get to see it on the table, but cool that you love them, because it means we're doing it right. So. Yeah.
But the next one we'll do is that kind of booster deck that I've talked about before. Once the Barons War has left my table, that's my next job. I want to collate a booster deck. Yeah. So I'd like to release it this year.
Oh.
Well, we have a lot of them. The cards already done.
Yeah.
You know, so we like things like the Greek cavalry should be in there. Some of the characters should be in there. You know, I'd love to add a load of new gifts to spice it up a bit more. You know, so a lot of it's already in there, and we should be filling out some of the cards that you could say are missing. You know, like a single experienced hoplite, which we haven't got a card for. We're using a normal card. So I think there's a good sized deck of, sorry Mark, there's a good sized deck of cards that we could still release. I'd like to release some Cretan archers, you know, Redan slingers, that kind of stuff, which are really well known units, which would work as mercenaries, and they would go with lots of different people. So there's loads of cool stuff we can put in there, and I'm beginning to get. Pardon, what was that, Mark?
Put the cavalry in, that kind of stuff. That we
the cavalry. Yeah, I'm getting you know, the horn a bit for Mortal Gods again. So I'd really like to finish some of those off, and then we want to do the Boeotian League, and we need to add that in. So there's a lot to do there still. So yes, I'd like to get a nice deck that everybody would really benefit from.
Yeah.
And just going back to the Indian, the elephant thing, I see elephants with Persians. So I would love to sneak an elephant in.
Yeah.
So I might sneak an elephant in this deck.
Oh.
I just sneak an elephant in anyway.
In pieces.
In pieces, yeah.
So I would love to get an elephant in. I think the Persians need a bit more. You know, at the moment, they can use the healer and the mystic dude from the Greeks. You know, I see the orange set to be used by everybody. But it'd be cool to give them some of their own characters, I think. So we should be doing that, and also like a mercenary set. You know, the Greeks were mercenaries, so we're saying, well, use the orange cards as the mercenaries. It'd be great to do some mercenary characters and do some really cool stuff in there as well. So I've kind of got in my head what I want to do. I will just have to get them done, and then Mark will cry when he has to pack them.
But like, you know, when you say mercenaries, Xenophon's brilliant. That's because he was writing from the point of view of somebody who was actually involved in the campaigns and stuff, and knew what he was talking about in terms of troops and that.
Yeah,
he's a brilliant source for like a mercenary force. So you know, there's all sorts of good stuff out there to use.
Andrew's also asked who came up with the wound dice.
It's not you.
I like to say it was, but I didn't want to be presumptuous.
Yeah. I'm going to have the name. I came up with Mortal Gods, but you can have the name.
You did come up with Mortal Gods, yeah. I think that the wound dice was mine. And we've used it again in Baron's War, but it's not a wound dice in Baron's War.
Oh.
So, yeah, there we go. It does something different. It's actually a morale dice in Baron's War.
Well, so, I have ideas for them, for moderns.
Yeah, so it does some very different stuff.
Good.
I think that's it.
Good. Yep. Well, that's good, because I think after our last chat last time, I think we said we were going to try and limit it to about 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
20 minutes.
Being professionals that we are, we'd be able to get the professional cut-off point.
Stay on schedule.
Stay on target.
Right. So we've gone an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
It's only, but it is only once a month.
Yeah.
So, right. Yeah. I mean, what the hell? I have nothing else to do, so we can just. It's funny though, seeing on the longer we wait, the darker it gets over in your background.
Yeah.
It's 3:24 here, so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a little later. It's nearly 9:30 in the evening over here.
Yeah. Yep. You need to start working on your lead flags there, Mark. Your bottle of wine.
Oh definitely. Yeah, I need more banners for my Barons War force.
That's right. Yeah. Speaking of banners, Andy's helped me this week. In the background, I've been working on migrating the store to a new store front to mirror the UK store. It's beautiful because, well, Andy built it. It's beautiful. So to that are all the banners, all the Citadel 6 is in stock. All of the Little Big Man Studio banners, all of them. So I'm hoping maybe Monday I go live with that store. I need to do a sanity check, but I'm very excited because it's just a beautiful store, and it will help. It helps with. So when you go to a Footsore store, you'll see it's a Footsore product. So
yeah, brilliant. It's worth just because I can't stop talking now. It's worth pointing out that the LBMS transfers and the Citadel 6 transfers work differently. So if you buy both, it's worth pointing out. If you use the water slide transfers, you'll get the Citadel 6 ones straight away, and their banners are different because they're self-adhesive and they're just lovely.
they're beautiful.
Yeah, but with the LBMS stuff, it's more like it feels. The best way I can describe it is like a sticker, and it feels, unless you're used to using them, they feel a bit counterintuitive to start with. But the finish you get on them is great, and if you're going to finish your figures, then having the LBMS or the Citadel 6 stuff is just great. So,
yeah.
But be aware they work differently.
And the banners, I could not believe the banners.
They're beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we have to say Citadel 6 just done a cracking job of because it's not just go out and find sundries heraldry because it's just there on a page somewhere and do it. They've actually, they've done a lot of work and a lot of research and really, really nice job.
Yep.
Yeah, they made it very easy for us. I could tell them I want these people, and they would just do it. I didn't even need to explain the heraldry to them. They just knew. So they're the good guys.
Alan Crooks, I had to sort of pick and pack 4,000 cards. It was emotional. Yes, Alan, I feel your pain.
Yeah, that's not something I'd want to do.
Yeah, cool. All right, are we calling it quits there? Because people must be bored with us by now.
Must be.
Yeah. All right.
Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to listen, and thank you for fielding your questions. We also monitor this after it's been recorded and been put out. So if you want to continue to ask questions, please feel free. We do read them, and we try to bring them into these sessions. So I hope everyone likes this format once a month. Maybe we could do it twice a month, but I don't know.
Whoa, steady down, Tim.
That's right. I could do 3 times a month, I guess. I don't know.
Don't you go committing us to anything like that.
I'm not committing you guys.
Do you realise how much I have to build myself up to be able to talk to everybody nicely once a month?
Yeah.
You just ask my staff.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can I just also add before we go? We are pretty transparent. So if you've got questions, do ask them. The idea of this is really a Q&A. I mean, we'll talk to each other all night, and you can watch us do that. But if you've got questions, more than happy to answer them.
Yeah. And good night to Richard as well. He's had enough of us.
Twice weekly. Yeah, Richard 7.
Wow.
You might get 2 sentences out of me twice weekly. That'd be it.
I thought about doing some more live paint and chat videos, but the problem is that it takes that whole group. It takes the whole group away from a Facebook perspective. So I don't know. But
I think the painting has to be like inspirational and aspirational as well, Tim.
Oh. You mean lion?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That,
I know what I'm doing now. I try.
Don't listen to him.
Don't listen to me, Tim. I'm just jealous.
No. Well. Okay. Well, I have nothing else. I thank everyone. Andy, nothing else? Mark, nothing else?
No, just, guys, we really appreciate the support. We know it's our time for everybody. And, it's great that you guys are all out there so supportive and enthusiastic. And, you know, as Andy said, we're transparent. You know, we'll not tell you everything because you know, we work kind of like that far ahead, and some of it will bubble up to the top, and some of it will get cycled back down to the bottom. But you know, stuff we're working on, and you guys want to talk about, we're you know, we're happy to try and answer anything and everything we can. You know, so just keep feeding back to us, because we don't know whether we're doing it right or wrong unless you tell us.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Okay. Well, until next time, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.